What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Soul Hoops. My name is Jeffrey. I'm here with Ryan Hines and Mattias. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing good, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm doing good too. You know what I'm saying? It's been a good day. It was my dad's birthday today, so went out to dinner with him. It was a good time.
Shout out, Mr. Hines. Tell him happy birthday for us.
Of course, I will.
Happy birthday, Mr. Hines.
How was your day today, Mattias?
It was good. I just kind of hung out. I helped stain my grandma's deck.
There you go. Little manual labor never hurts. Manual labor never hurts. All right, awesome. Well, we can get into the first topic here. So we're going to be talking today overall. We're going to be talking a few random points that we, news and random stuff that's popped up through the week. And then we're going to be finishing off with our top 10 point guards in the NBA lists. We've all assembled a list of 10 point guards. Some honorable mentions we'll throw in there as well, the guys that missed the cut. And we've all unanimously agreed that that was a hard list to make. One of the deepest positions in the league, I think. The guard play has been very high level over the last year and the last couple of years. So first thing we're going to be talking about today is the FIBA kicks off next month. And they're going to be starting their, teamwork with Team USA. All the countries are going to be gathering for their pre-scrimmage work and practices. Once that period opens up at the end of August, Team USA is going to be assembling in Vegas with their team, which we've talked. I don't believe we've really talked about before, but they got a fun young team that's going to be going out there. And we also learned that a few intriguing young players that are really looking to work on their game a little bit are going to be joining the team as select alternates, essentially. They're going to be running scrimmages, running practices, working with the coaching staff for Team USA. So those people include Chet, Jalen Williams, the Jalen Williams, Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green, and Keegan Murray. So I don't know if you guys got any thoughts on those guys at all.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, when I first saw it, I just kind of thought that it was a fitting young group of guys who are going to push the main FIBA team and also kind of, I guess, develop their own skills in the process. And in Cade's case, kind of recover from the injury. Also, Chet recovering from the injury still, just kind of getting into game shape in this off season before the season. So, I don't have too many thoughts on the select team, but it's always nice to see players get involved with FIBA basketball because we see it time and time again where players get involved with FIBA over the summer and they come back that next season looking even better. So, it's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I think all those young guys on that roster all have like real talent and they contribute now. I think they're all contributors, but I think all five of those guys, they all have holes in their games or question marks. Like Cade and Chet. Cade has got to work on his jumper a little bit, and Chet also, they both have to work back from injury. Mm-hmm. Jalen Williams, you'd like to see a little more from him. He actually is really complete. I would just say you hope to see him take a star leap or just a big sophomore leap.
Yeah, I think working with one of those higher end coaching staffs can help him just get acclimated into like taking on a bigger role in the NBA because even though last year he was very good, he took on a very large role for the Thunder. It's like you can also see it's like he could take another step to be like right away develop the skills to be a really
he needs
good
to
star
refine his skills. Yeah, and all of these guys I feel like have the potential or the talent to be a star player. Even Keegan Murray, who many think is just a role guy.
His potential is underrated because he's a third option right now, sometimes even a fourth option with Malik Monk there. But like his growth as a slasher and off the dribble work can really like take him to like a next level. He's already one of the best 3-point shooters in the league from catch and shoot.
Yeah.
And if he takes a little bit of that self-creation game up a little bit, it'd be next level for him.
Adding a pull-up jumper would be huge for Keegan.
Honestly, the guy that I'm most happy to see there is honestly Jalen Green. Him going to Team USA and working with them really shows to me that he really is committed to, rebranding his game as a basketball player. And, we've seen over the last few years, which we've talked about extensively because the Rockets are very intriguing, is like he clearly had some holes where he wasn't playing a lot of winning basketball with a lot of those guys on the team weren't. And I think, if he's going to take that step, it'd be good to, work it with in an organization or, situation where he can do just that. So that's one of the things I'm really excited about as well.
Yeah.
All right. You guys got any thoughts about FIBA? I'm excited for FIBA though. I'm going to be watching.
I'll be watching too. Again, like kind of what you said earlier, this year's team is it's a lot of young guys. You got Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton, you got Mikal Bridges in there, you got
Jalen Brunson,
Ingram, Jaren Jackson Jr., Jalen Brunson,
Austin Bobby Reed, Portis is the vet. That's gonna be fun.
You got Josh Hart in there too. It's a really fun group of guys. Like when the roster came out, it makes me excited for the Olympics next year too, because I think even though I think a lot of the older guys will want to play in the Olympics, it's fun to think of a lot of these young guys also challenging their spots and potentially getting those USA reps in. Yeah.
No, that's good to see. I'm excited to see which of these guys, even in the regular roster, including the select team, there's so many young guys. I'm excited to see which one actually takes the step. Because like you said, Ryan, there's a few of those guys that go out and they come back and they take a leap.
Yeah. I'll be watching. Tyrese Halliburton will be the guy for me off that roster.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
He's a special, which we'll be talking about him in a little bit. I'm super excited. Olympics should be a lot of fun next year. Obviously, a lot more of the vet guys go to the Olympics. Steph Curry's going back to the Olympics next year.
Yeah.
Because Steve Kerr's coaching, so he said he wants to play, which will be crazy because we haven't gotten him last year. In 2021, he did not play because he was hurt. So
yeah, and just outside of the USA too, you've got a lot of guys in the league who are going back to play for their home countries. Like Canada's
going to be nice.
Stacked. You got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I think Jamal Murray is in there too.
Yep, he's playing.
You got Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
I'm not sure.
In Toronto.
I don't know where FIBA is held.
I don't know.
I'd have to look it up. I know that they're going to be doing exhibition games, but I don't know where those are.
I was thinking Olympics. Isn't Olympics in the U.S. or is that one more away?
That's one more away. World Cup's in the U.S., which for anybody that's a soccer fan, that's going to be electric. I'll be traveling the country when 2026 for the World Cup. That'll be so much fun playing in all the different cities and stadiums. I'm excited. Team Canada's got a lot of good guys. A lot of the European teams are going to be pretty good. Yeah. Spain is always tricky. There's a lot of those, Eastern European countries that obviously they've been playing together for so long, and then Luka comes back and plays, or KP, and I don't know if Jokic is playing.
Nurk dominate sometimes.
Yeah, Nurk. Yep. Or the Wagner brothers. I don't know if Germany qualified, but they go crazy together.
Yeah, for sure. And France too. I mean, Victor Wembanyama is not going to be playing, which sucks. But you still got Rudy Gobert, Evan Fournier is going to be there. Other French guys are going to be there. I think maybe Bilal Koulibaly is going to be there. So seeing more of him in that kind of environment will be pretty cool. I think
he can even take a leap.
Kyle Anderson for the Wolves is going to be playing for China.
Really?
FIBA.
Interesting.
Yeah, which I was confused about, but I did some more digging, and he's got Chinese ancestry that dates pretty far back, and I think he wants to kind of reconnect with that side a little bit and play for the Chinese FIBA
That's
team.
dope. That's dope. Yeah. I like it when guys go down their lineage a little bit and they link up with their past. That's why I kind of wish Paolo would have went and played for Italy. Obviously, he's playing.
Oh, he handled that so bad.
Yeah, he handled that horribly, but. I wish he would have been able to play for Italy. That would have been sick.
Yeah, what did their prime minister say? He fooled us.
Fooled us.
Yeah,
fooled us. Oh man,
that's such a good quote.
It's a great graphic.
Yeah, but yeah, should be fun. Get a little thing. I still think the USA has the best players. I think Canada would probably be the second best team. All right. Well, I got a little fun little question for you guys. A little game. So we're going to be going through 3 teams from the last 3 decades, a team of number 1 overall picks. And we're going to see which starting 5 we think would win a tournament against each other. All right. So I'm going to get the list for you. So starting off with team 1990s, we got Allen Iverson at the 1, Larry Johnson, Chris Webber, Tim Duncan, and Shaq leading all on there, which is a crazy team. A lot of big men.
A lot of big men.
That spacing on that team is almost non-existent. But you know what? We're playing 90s basketball. Who cares?
Yeah.
Especially if they're playing against Team 2000s, which might have even worse spacing somehow. We got Derrick Rose at the 1, LeBron at the 2, Blake Griffin at the 3, Dwight Howard, and Yao Ming, which
another big lineup.
This is prime Blake Griffin could.
Yeah, but
Blake Griffin could stretch
Blake Griffin couldn't shoot. What is all right? Off track really quick. Prime Blake Griffin. You got Clippers or you got that Detroit year where he averaged like 26.
I mean,
I'm a big fan of that Detroit year, man.
That 2018-19 Detroit year was really fun. I mean, I think he was shooting like 36% on 3 on like pretty high volume. That was a really good year.
And he was still athletic then.
Oh yeah, he was still.
He looked like one of the best like skilled big men at the time. Like,
yeah,
he threw it
all away. He threw it all away to put it out for the city of Detroit against us, unfortunately, sadly.
And they traded him, right?
And then they traded. Well, he got hurt. He hurt his leg. He didn't play, and then he got cut in his last year of his contract. Or they bought him out, and then he went to Brooklyn, where he was pretty good in Brooklyn too. Underrated on those Brooklyn teams was Blake Griffin.
Also, though, Clippers Blake Griffin, I think a lot of people remember him as just a dunker in Los Angeles, but he was a lot more than that. And those like 2014, 2015, those years in LA, like Blake Griffin was doing a lot of things out there. He was in a way,
especially when Chris Paul would go down, he was handle the ball, he was playmaking, he was working, he was running the offense as a 4. It was awesome.
Yeah,
their team was so good. They just never really got it done in the playoffs.
Yeah, they got so many injuries, and they also never really had like enough forwards on the roster. Like they tried so many things. Like they had old Paul Pierce, they had not Harrison Barnes, Matt Barnes.
Yeah.
They tried a bunch of guys there. It just didn't really ever work. All right. So then the next team, so we had the 1, we got John Wall at the 1, Kyrie at the 2, Zion at the 3, AD at the 4, and Cat at the 5. So what roster you guys got taking a 1-game elimination tournament against each other?
Number 1, Shaq is killing Karl Anthony Towns.
He's not
killing.
We didn't have to say that though. We could have just
killing
ignored
AD,
that part.
That's like the biggest thing, though. That's like the biggest mismatch.
Oh yeah. Is he killing AD though? Is he killing AD though?
Both of them though. But then you also got to worry about TD.
I know.
Yeah,
but the guard play.
The guard play difference is crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
Sorry, Ryan. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you look at 2010s and they've got much better shooting, and I think that's kind of hard to ignore when you look at that team. Kyrie Irving, who's a career 40% shooter, Karl Anthony Towns, career 40% shooter. I think that spacing would make quite the difference in a 1-game elimination. But also, Team 2000s have LeBron.
True.
Yeah, they have LeBron. So
peak athletic LeBron, and I don't know. Yeah. I really think there's a toss up. I think. For my nostalgia and my favorite players, I think I would go Team 2010s, but I think Team 2000s would definitely dominate. Yao Ming and Dwight Howard in the post is crazy.
You got oh my god, prime. You got an MVP Rose,
fucking MVP LeBron, prime like hyper athletic Blake Griffin, Dwight Howard. That's 3 times Depoy. Dwight Howard.
Yeah.
And Yao Ming.
That's an anchored defense, dude.
That's crazy. I think I'm going to go Team 2000s.
I think so, too. I think that team is probably the most well-rounded and best out of all these.
Yeah.
I feel like we're kind of discrediting the 90s, though, a little bit.
No, they're a good team. They also have 3 power forwards.
But, I mean, like, you got Shaq and TD.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Like, is Dwight Howard and Yao Ming or even Blake Griffin going to do anything against Shaq and TD at the rim?
I just think 2000s is crazy team altogether.
That 90s team is slow though. Like
Allen
Iverson obviously super quick, but Larry Johnson and Chris Webber at the 2 and 3, that's really slow. I can't keep up with anyone.
That's true.
Larry Johnson guarding LeBron is kind of wild. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go Team 2000s. I think they got the most playmakers, and I think they also have a crazy anchored defense. So.
Yeah, I want to say 2010s just because of the shooting, but I think looking at the best team, I think it's got to be the 2000s.
Yeah, I think so too. Awesome. All right. Well, next thing we're going to be getting into here is a couple of rumors from over the week. We got a couple things that have been, put out there a little bit concerning trades, some roster decisions. So from all things, speaking on James Harden, seems like there's not really a market for him trade-wise, other than the Clippers, who are interested but unwilling to give up a large package for him.
Are they interested even?
Yeah, they said they remain interested, but not committed to giving a big start package up for him. He's on a 1-year deal. It's going to be very expensive to bring him in for one season. Yeah.
And a possible rental.
Yeah, possible rental, even though I think wherever he would go, he'd probably, if they were willing to sell and sign him to a reasonable 3-4 year contract, he would probably stick around. Because that'll probably be his last, deal before it's kind of over for him. So,
yeah. James Harden, he's just such an enigma of a player in the sense that it's not very often where a player with a prime as good as James Harden's, his legacy is we just don't know what it's going to be. Like how will James Harden be remembered? Really?
Yeah.
It's just so confusing with them. I don't know what to think.
Yeah, it is very I think James Harden's always going to be a very polarizing player. I think it's going to be one of those things where you really had to understand what he provided to the game of basketball as a whole and to the franchises when he was there. I think I can compare him similarly to a guy like maybe Charles Barkley, one-time MVP, and he was a crazy, crazy high-level player. But people don't really remember him because he was overshadowed by other great players of similar, positions. Charles Barkley playing in the 80s and 90s, it was, Jordan, Shaq came in then, and then it was, there's all the other Hakeem. And then it's for Harden, it's the same thing. He was a crazy, crazy player, top 3 to 5 player in the league at one point for a long time, actually. But he's always going to be overshadowed by other guards of the time, like Russ, unfortunately, which everyone loves Russ, though. Who doesn't love Russ? Steph Curry, obviously, top 10 player of all time, changed the game forever. Even guys I think unfairly compared to because they aren't going to be on the level of him, like a Kyrie Irving, because everyone loves Kyrie and his game. And he also was very successful. He won a championship. He has one of the most iconic moments in NBA history. So sadly, I think, he'll be overshadowed and people won't really appreciate what he did for the game of basketball. But, hopefully he can be remembered as the great player that he was. So
yeah, but I also just think about the multiple playoff meltdowns and disappearances from him, and what is now the third trade request in 3 years. I don't know. A lot of what James Harden's career is turning out to be just rubs me the wrong way. So yeah, it's fascinating to think, I guess, in my opinion anyway, what kind of legacy James Harden is carving out for himself right now, and what it's really going to look like when it's all said and done.
Yeah. I also think as the foul baiting, kind of washes out in the culture of basketball, because it seems like the NBA is trying to stop it. I think he will not be remembered for being a game changer as much. Because I think right now he's getting carried by a game changer narrative with the foul baiting and all that, and I actually do think the NBA is gonna try.
Yeah, I know, and I would make the argument as a huge fan of what James Harden's game was when he was in Houston. Is I think his real, curtain call to the game is going to be the rise of the heliocentric offense. Although it hasn't been successful so far, the ability for teams to build around a crazy high-level ball handler and scorer and just put shooters and defenders around him is going to be one of it's just been mimicked everywhere. Regardless of how the successful it's been, it is the key of winning a championship, at least. It has been the key to building a playoff-level roster with not that great of players.
And even though it hasn't been successful, in terms of making the finals or winning a championship, in 2018, they were damn close.
They would have won it.
They were damn close.
If Chris Paul didn't get hurt, I fully believe that they would have won it. They were up 3-2. Chris Paul got hurt, and it was just wraps from then.
And missing 27 straight threes is like a statistical anomaly. That like the chances of that happening with that team.
It literally hasn't happened anywhere close. I think the closest was like 20 something, and it was like a bottom feeder team, like one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the league.
The odds of that happening are like they're extreme.
And really extreme. What you can lead to that though is because CP3 wasn't in that series at the end of it. CP3 was the change of pace guy on that roster. Mm-hmm. He was the only one on that roster who was working mid range. He was still at a very, very high level creator for himself and others, which is just it would have been different. I think they probably could have won the game. That game was still close. That game was still close. Like they didn't get blown out because of that.
No, and Harden I think ring culture dilutes a lot of careers. Sadly, because like you said, Ryan, Harden has been very successful. Very, very successful. He's had one of the most successful careers for a shooting guard in the NBA. But like people aren't going to remember it like that because he never got a ring, which just sucks.
I would take peak for peak. I would take Harden over a guy like D Wade, but people are always going to feel like D Wade is always a better player because he has 3 championships and he's one of the most historic playoff guys. He has one of the most memorable playoff runs of all time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm a personal guy. I think that James Harden is going to go down as probably one of the most underappreciated players. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt. One of the probably a top 5 scorer of all time. And he's one of the best playmakers of all time. Do not get that twisted at all.
Underrated playmaker still.
We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that in the rankings.
We are going to talk about that. We are going to be talking about that for sure. Because I think playmaking's value has been so diluted recently, which I think I might have to go on a playmaking rant here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I believe we only have a few extra things we wanted to quick talk about. Let me just pull it up here. So one thing is lingering roster moves. There's going to be there's not many teams that have a lot of roster spots left after the draft and after undrafted free agency. So a lot of teams are going to be making roster moves. I believe I saw a thing that, for example, the Thunder have 22 players on the roster, and I think get down to 17 by training camp and 15 by the end of the season.
Yeah.
They cut Rudy Gay a few days ago, which was he was an old player that got they got like a second round pick for taking on his contract. So yeah, but I would say that's going to be intriguing seeing what teams jump on a guy. I don't know who they're going to plan on cutting. They're going to have to cut a couple guys. They might look to move a couple of them before they have to cut them. But I really hope that a couple of those guys that they have to move off of. Also, the Spurs have to cut some guys or renounce their restricted rights. And there's some other teams they're completely slipping my mind. One interesting thing. Did you see the Dallas Mavericks trade that was reported possibly being in the works? So there was a trade proposal for, I believe it was Tim Hardaway Jr. and just whatever to make the salaries work, and like a protected pick to the Pistons for Killian Hayes and
Bojan.
Yeah,
I believe it's Bojan.
Yeah, Bojan. I always get them mixed up.
Same.
I always say their names wrong.
Yeah,
if that's true and they're working on that, that would be a huge get for the Spurs or for
the Mavericks.
Dallas, which I would love that. Get a wing scorer that can come in, and he's a very good shooter.
I'm a Killian Hayes believer.
Yeah, Killian Hayes is kind of
you're one of few.
Yeah,
one of the few, dude. Barely,
you know, there's a niche group out there that are Killian.
Dude, it's my ego from draft night.
I think. Well, even then though, if he came in there, it's really weird. The Dallas is taking a flyer on a bunch of old guards. They have Franklin Aquina on the roster. Who was the Australian guy a few years ago that was super hyped? Dante Exum's on their roster
2K
now.
legend.
Yep, 2K legend. He had that Foot Locker commercial with D'Lo.
Yeah.
Where it was one of the series where D'Lo threw his phone out the window.
It's like, trust me, you don't want that.
Old commercials like that were hilarious. Old NBA commercials.
Yeah, I love the old ESPN commercials too.
Yeah, I don't know. Would you guys? I feel like that would probably be a very unanimously good trade. I don't think anyone would really hate on that at all.
Yeah, I think that would put the cherry on top for the Mavericks offseason. I think they've done a really good job with what they had.
Yeah. Do you think that would make them like? Obviously, their bench should be a little shaky, but do you think like they could be like a tier 2-ish contender with that move?
I don't.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
It might make them a 6 versus a 7 seed or something.
Really?
I don't know. I mean, they haven't added much, and they're just a playing team.
No, they weren't even a playing team. They're 11 seed.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm a little bit higher on their roster than most. I think we'll see how it goes, but we'll see.
I just think that everyone in the West is trying to win, so
yeah,
it's going to have to come down to a lot of clutch.
That's what makes me nervous. There's going to be some good teams that miss the playoffs.
Yeah, and we mentioned this last time, but Christian Wood has still not been moved or whatever they're doing with them. But
it was Christian Wood was the other piece. It was a sign and trade.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The other moves have just been pretty small. Like the campaign to the Spurs was an interesting one, just because the Suns are. They signed Bobo. The Suns are like officially just look like moving away from the point guard look entirely. Which is, I think, is weird, but
anti-playmaking, Geoff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talking about that, I mean, we can kind of save it, I guess, but like, I guess I'll go on my rant now. The value that playmaker, like high-level point guard play, or even good point guard play, can provide to a team with that level of scoring ability is so high that it is absolutely crazy that they are not even trying to get one like point guard, like actual established point guard on the roster.
And sometimes you don't even need a high level point guard. Like look at the Bucks.
Yeah, Drew is running our point guard. He's a good playmaker.
Yeah, but he's not like
he's not like high level. He's not like a high level, like a super super high level Chris Paul level playmaker.
No,
no point. Like they're saying that Bradley Beal is going to go into camp being the starting one.
I think Devin's a better playmaker, though.
Opinion. I would rather have Devin Booker do it. Devin Booker had a season where he ran point guard before Chris Paul got there. He averaged 7 assists a game. So I would have Devin Booker run the point guard.
It's a really interesting look for the Suns to get rid of campaign and bring in Bol. It's like a ball don't stop ISO offense. That's what they're running over there.
It's like Hoops Twitter. Like as the GM.
bag talk,
and Matt, offense. And also those draft pick trades that they did. I was looking back at those a little bit to get all those seconds. They are heavily taking a leverage that they are going to win a championship within 2 years. Like,
yeah, they are.
Like, if they don't win a championship within the next 2 years, like, they are absolutely screwed for the next 7 or 8 years plus, regardless of who's on the roster.
And they might have a thought process though, where they can just flip these talented guys.
But here's the thing: they can get their picks locked, and their second round picks locked if they're over the second apron. So they will be stuck at the 30th pick no matter what.
Oh,
they also be restricted. They won't be able to get buyout players. They won't be able to make trade picks in the future. Their picks are going to get locked also out into the future. So in 5 years, when they can trade 2 or 3 picks again, that's not going to be possible. They're not going to be allowed to. So they really, really have to hope that this works.
Yeah, they're in a tough spot, but also I get where they're coming from. I mean,
yeah, I don't blame
that the Suns are the oldest franchise in the league without a championship.
Yeah,
and if you can get Kevin Durant, you do it. I don't care who you get.
New owner too. They didn't make big moves.
I honestly would have been a fan if they would have been able to fill out the roster around. Oh my goodness, my TV just switched. Hold on, 1 second.
But also Arizona is such a huge growing market, and I know is it Ishbia? I don't know how to say his name.
Ishbia.
Ishbia.
Matt
Ishbia. I am back. I apologize to all the listeners out there. I have a TV light that provides my background light, and it just switched channels to a commercial. So I apologize. But there you go. little interlude for that. Mitt Ishbia is he's also a mortgage lender, so he is definitely a gambler. He is definitely a high stakes businessman. It is very hopeful. The one thing that I worry about with them is I think they did very good for filling out the roster with minimums, but I also worry that a lot of the times that some of those players are like, can a lot of those players play in the playoffs is the real question mark.
Even in their career.
Yeah, like they really haven't. Like that's the thing. Like Bull has not shown that he can play playoff minutes ever.
He hasn't shown he can be a productive player for more than a month at a time.
Yeah.
No.
Which he has the opportunity to. I think he could do some random things, but whatever.
I'm off the Bull train.
I'm off of it too.
I've been off it for a while. Been off it for a very long time.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, yep. And then last couple of things, trade market's probably going to still be at a stalemate, still reporting that no new deals are getting done because they're waiting for picks to maybe go around in a Dame trade, which, we can talk about one other thing with that. We've all agreed we don't want to talk about Dame trade because it's all that's been talked about for weeks before. But one thing, the intriguing part is going to be the landing spot of Tyler Hero. It's reported that there's a few teams that are very highly interested in taking on Tyler Hero, possibly, and multiple of them. It was originally reported that a lot of them would want compensation back for getting into the trade, but there's some saying rumblings that a couple of these teams would be willing to give a pick to get him if they're compensated in maybe a smaller way. So they'd be willing to give up a first if they can get a second or a couple of seconds for it as well. So I think a couple of the landing spots that have been named are the Spurs, Brooklyn. The Clippers said if they can't get Harden that they might be interested at sending some role players to a team and getting Tyler Hero instead, which could be interesting. I don't know if you guys have any spots you would like him to land possibly.
Yeah, personally, the Brooklyn destination is pretty intriguing to me. I think I'd really be interested to see what that offense looks like with the Tyler Hero centered offense with all the wings they have on that team. Spencer Dinwiddie, I mean, they had to give players up to get him salary, make the salary match, all that. But Ben Simmons, I don't know. But Spencer Dinwiddie, Tyler Hero, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Nick Claxton, Dorian Finney-Smith is still on the roster. You know, I think, I don't know. I'd like to see him in Brooklyn personally.
Yeah, personally, I'd like to see him with the Spurs. I think in a pop system and next to someone like Wembanyama, it covers his holes, defensively and the hole in his playmaking. You don't have to worry about it if he's in a pass move heavy offense. You don't have to worry about him making high level reads as much.
Yeah, I think my number one place would be Brooklyn. I think I would be fully for that. I know from people that I've talked to and seen, it seems like Brooklyn fans are all for it. I feel like they really would enjoy it. Their point guard play is very lacking right now. Spencer Dinwiddie and pretty much nothing else behind him that's proven. Cam Thomas, but even then Cam Thomas is more of a shooting guard. He's a scorer guy.
Yeah.
I think they would being able to have a guy who can do a little bit of everything at the point guard position. He's obviously not a very high level playmaker. He has some holes there, but he can still, throw some lobs, and swing the ball around, which is all they really need of him. They don't need him to bring up the ball and, kind of go through everything.
No.
Plus they have Ben Simmons. Hopefully, I'm fully supporting Ben Simmons's comeback here. I'm really excited. I hope he does. And if he can come back to even be, I just need him to be healthy enough to be able to play, because I think taking him being able to just play make and, get some lobs if he wants to do that, or just run transition, or maybe, sit in the dunker spot every now and then, run pick and roll. Like if he can play make, that'd be so great for them. If they can run more of a motion offense, which they kind of did last year because they lacked a true point guard, playmaker. Mm-hmm. So hopefully they can do that. I would like that. I think Brooklyn would be the best landing spot for him personally. And I think Brooklyn is his vibe. Tyler Hero's a city guy. I don't really think he's a big San Antonio type guy.
No, he would not be a big San Antonio guy. Another thing about the Nets, though, with Ben, I don't know if he's going to come back and be able to play point guard on the defensive end.
No, I think he would.
I think that back, he's had too many injuries. I think he's going to be more of a forward defender by the time he's
so
recovered.
if Ben were to come back and you think like he's going to be able to play right away, and say they get Tyler Hero, let's say in this hypothetical world, the Nets get Tyler Hero. What do you think a starting lineup? I think that they would probably try to ease Ben in at first. And if he's good, you bring him into the starting lineup. Yeah. Do you think it would be best to bring Cam Johnson off the bench if Ben Simmons looks good, or start them all together? So it'd be like Tyler, Mikal at the 2, Cam, Ben, and then Claxton.
Bam. I mean, I like that because
I think that'd be an awesome lineup. That'd
Mikal has shown you can play 2 through 4. And they're all so versatile that
I think it'd be super fun. They could
2 through 4 switching on defense.
They could switch 1 through 5, legitimately high level.
That's a pretty fun team, and you've also got shooting in there too. You know, Tyler Hero is one of the best catch and shoot shooters in the NBA. Mikal Bridges, his shooting while in Brooklyn was like insane from 3, from mid range at the rim.
He's already shown that he can
even off ball in Phoenix. He was real good.
Yeah, and Cam Johnson's a great shooter too.
Claxton's a great role guy, and he's a great lob threat.
And I think he's shown a little bit of playmaking out of that short roll last year that I didn't think he showed before.
Yeah, I'm a big Claxton fan. I really like Claxton.
Yep. He don't sleep on Claxton. If you're sleeping on Claxton, you're doing it wrong.
Wake up
on him. All right. Well, let's I think that's all we got for random stuff. Other stuff is just like contract extension kind of talk. So let's get into it. Let's start with our top 10 point guards list. I don't know if anybody wants to go first. We can start off with some honorable mentions. I don't know if you want to go, Mattias. You can go with start off with some honorable mentions if you have them.
I got 3 in no particular order. It's Darius Garland, LaMelo Ball, and Drew Holiday. This list it kind of feels weird leaving some of those guys off because I'm a huge believer of all of them. But again, this list was really hard. I think the fact that LaMelo was hurt and Garland necessarily isn't a 1, and the Cavs' short end of success kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth. So I'm thinking of them a little light. So if we ever revise this, it might change a little.
Yeah. I had a very similar list. I had 4. I unfortunately have LaMelo, Drew, Darius Garland. I also had Harden right off the list.
Wow.
Unfortunately.
Okay. I have 3 honorable mentions, and my honorable mentions are Darius Garland, Drew Holiday, and Jamal Murray.
Oh, Jamal. Yeah.
It was a hard bet between those guys. Those last, 9 through like all my honorable mentions, I really think you could argue any of them.
Yeah.
I really think you could argue any of them. But all right. Well then, Mattias, you go into who do you have at number 10 on your point guard list?
At number 10, I have NBA champion Jamal Murray. I think he rounds it off.
I also had Jamal Murray at number 10. That is also where I
had Jalen Brunson at 10.
Okay.
Well, let's talk about Jamal because I think we'll get the Brunson talk in a sec here. Jamal for me I think he is one of the most high ceiling and high floor guys in like that you can ask for at the position. I think the one problem with him is that first off, he's not the number 1 on his team. He's not asked to do a lot playmaking wise. He's just asked to score. And I think, that can kind of hinder him in regards to that. And then I would say, I just need him to do it, keep doing it, and keep up what he's been doing at the end of last season and in the playoffs. He was very good all last season, but I think need another season or 2, probably another full season of a healthy season.
Yeah.
Him playing at the second half of last year to playoff level before I can solidly cement him as like up there.
Yeah, that's ultimately kind of why he missed my cut. I looked at the team he gets to play with, and it's definitely no fault to Jamal Murray, but playing with Jokic, naturally a lot of the ball handling, or not the ball handling, but the playmaking and passing duties that a lot of the other guards kind of around that tier usually have to carry the burden of. Jamal Murray is kind of off the hook a little bit. He gets to do a lot of the scoring around the mid range and the three and the going to the rim stuff. So that's kind of why he ultimately missed the cut. But Jalen Brunson's my 10, and I think you guys probably have him a bit higher than I do, so we can kind of talk about Jalen Brunson around there.
Yeah. About Murray, I actually think you guys hit the spot. Not talking about how he's not really a playmaker. He's turned into an off-ball cutter, or he's not a high-level reader. But I do think he's one of the best off-ball guards, IQ-wise, in the league. Like, he works around screens. He reads the defense well, and he's also one of the best two-man guards in the league in the terms of two-man game with Jokic. Oh, yeah. Jokic is a super high IQ player, but Jamal Murray also is half of that well-oiled machine. And some of the way they run the two-man game, it's at such a high speed, and they both make high-level reads just between them two. I haven't seen anything like it. It's great, and I think that's why I had to give him the edge over some of these guys.
Yeah. Also, the playoff performances obviously push him over some of these guys.
He booms in the playoffs
for sure. Yeah.
All right, for number 9, I had Jalen Brunson at number 9 personally.
Yeah, I had Jalen Brunson at number 9.
Yeah.
I had James Harden at my number 9.
All
okay.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about Brunson then.
Yeah.
So for me, Brunson was one of the most awesome stories overall in the whole NBA this year. He showed a lot in regards to his primary ball handling ability, his primary scoring ability, and overall was just awesome.
His 3-point shooting, everything.
His shooting went up. Obviously, his usage went up a ton after going to New York. And he's also on don't sleep, he is on one of the best contracts in the NBA.
Went from overpaid to one of the best contracts in the NBA.
It is crazy.
It is I do have to admit something. I thought he was a bit overpaid when New York handed that money.
I did too.
I was like, there's no way this guy is going to be worth all that money they gave him. And he shut that down pretty quickly.
Yeah.
All right. No, it was awesome. It's a declining contract too. The first year was the most amount of money, and I think he's going to get even better in his role next year with steps from some of their young guys like Grimes. Hopefully, quickly takes another step off the bench.
RJ,
hopefully RJ has a bounce back year. He was up and down all year. I actually like RJ. I think I really hope he can start to turn around again.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then we can get into number 8 then for you. Who do you guys have at number 8?
I have Tyrese Halliburton.
Okay.
I also have Tyrese. Who do you have?
I have James Harden.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like this is the time to say Tyrese Halliburton didn't make my list.
Oh.
Did you forget about him?
Nope.
Oh my!
He didn't make it at all.
No, he didn't make it at all.
Okay, we got to.
He would have been my last honorable mention, but I was like, I thought we were just doing 3. I just did 3. He would have been my 4th.
You got to answer for your crimes because
that's
I don't
disgusting.
know.
I'm just
Tyrese.
He's not. He's at that 14. Yeah. I think Drew's defense puts him over Tyrese's. I don't think that scoring wise, they're about the same. And I think I favor average playmaking.
I disagree.
I think Halliburton is a better scorer.
Yeah.
But I'm saying the defensive gap and the fact that, like, I don't know, the championship pedigree. I know it's stupid.
Yeah.
But
I get it.
There's a chance still. I don't believe in empty stats really, especially when you put it up efficiently like Halliburton has. But there's still a chance that, he was on a bad team. I want to see him more. It's the same reason I only have LaMelo at 12 or whatever.
So I'm going to use this time to go on my playmaking talk. Tyrese Halliburton's playmaking ability and his impact on the court is like top of the league level. He was playing completely healthy, they were a top 6 team cemented, and they did not drop until around the trade deadline and All-Star break.
Mm-hmm.
He gets hurt a little bit after All-Star, and they completely went off the rails. Their offense went down horribly. The shooting went down, everything. it is.
But that could also be attributed to a young team going through a slump.
Yeah, no,
you see
of
a lot of
course.
teams come out the All-Star break.
Of course, yeah,
That's
for
where
sure.
you see the downslope of a young team.
Yeah, for sure. But I think when you're looking at the one thing that really happened to that team, it was Tyrese going down.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I am just a big Tyrese Halliburton guy. Like, he is just simply one of my. I think I just got an agenda.
I love Tyrese Halliburton, but it was just like I'm splitting hairs.
Yeah.
And it was just like he would have been my fourth honorable mention.
Yeah. I can't disagree too much. I think what really puts him above, Brunson, Jamal, LaMelo probably would be like pretty cemented like right here too if he wasn't so hurt last year.
Mm-hmm.
Because I kind of disqualified him for the injury tax. Like, he only played like 30 games. Like,
he also, when he did play, it's not like I don't think he was like that amazing. Also, I mean, as good of a playmaker as LaMelo is, I think he was a bit of a ball hog at times last year. He was just taking all the shots. I mean, it is Charlotte, so I mean, there's not like a ton of guys to really pass to. But
day one, it was bad.
Also, LaMelo still can't finish around the rim.
No, he also is not a great penetrator to the rim. So a lot of his playmaking is through like from the top of the key, or it's not dribble drive.
Yeah, but I will be officially. And I really think you're not wrong for what you value. Like, I can definitely see like if you were building like a championship level team and you already had like a number 1 and 2 like guy and like maybe a number 2 level guy, like the Bucks, for example.
Yeah,
you already have a superstar and you already have an all-star second guy. It's like, who could be our third guy? You might value that. I think if you were building a team, a point guard, from scratch to run your team, I think Tyrese Halliburton would be at the top of the list. So that's personally why I had him up there. True. I just really love his game. His shooting he's a great shooter.
It's awesome.
Great finisher.
Great shooter. I've always been high on Halliburton. So
he's from up the road from me. So I respect.
He's also kind of another ego from that draft. I had him high.
I can't believe he fell in that draft, man.
I just love Tyrese Halliburton. I mean, in my notes for this placement I had, he's the only player in NBA history to average 20 points, 10 assists on 40% shooting from 3.
That's crazy.
That's a crazy stat. He's just so good. And his team was in the playoffs before he got hurt. The Pacers were they were good. And that 2-man action he runs with Buddy Hield, where he just always finds them open. It's just great.
Then I guess Lauri Markkanen didn't really get hurt, but I was like, the Jazz followed a similar route with Lauri.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say.
They also traded away all of their role players.
True. Yeah. They also, that's a different thing.
Mike Conley.
Indiana didn't make it.
Traded away 3 starters. So, and
I forgot about that.
They traded away Malik Beasley, who was having a really good season. They traded away Vanderbilt, who was having a really good season, and they traded away Mike Conley. So, that was rough. And they traded away Nickeil Alexander-Walker. So, shout out Nickeil. One of my favorite young guys in the league. All right, well, let's get to the next one then. Number 7. I had De'Aaron Fox as number 7.
I've got Trae Young.
Fox.
Oh, you got Trae Young?
Yep.
All right. Well, let's talk about D Fox. We got 2 on D Fox here. Fox was crazy last year.
Yeah.
Awesome. The whole Kings team.
One of my favorite players to watch too.
Oh, De'Aaron it was Fox. Awesome.
Two of the best storylines of this whole season was De'Aaron Fox in the fourth quarter and the Kings.
Yes.
Just always.
I'm gonna pull. Hold on, I got a stat. I'm gonna pull up. You guys push the Fox propaganda. Just give me 1 second.
I think the big thing about Fox, I think he took a huge step in obviously his shot creation.
Mm-hmm.
His percentages actually stayed pretty similar at the 3-point line. I don't think it improved that much. I don't have
the 3-pointer. The 3-pointer came and went. Yeah, it really did.
But I do think the shots he was taking made him a lot more of a threat and made his dribble drive a threat. It just made him more of a threat because he was taking side steps, step backs instead of just stationary, slow jumpers.
And also, he's always been a good mid-range shooter, but this year especially, the mid-range shots were timely, they were accurate, and they were just so fun to watch. If it's any fourth quarter overtime situation, when he pulls up from that foul line mid-range, just the defense might as well just turn the other way because that shot is going in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got a stat here for you. So this is from NBA.com. So this is most field goals attempted in the clutch, which is defined as 5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter and within 5 points, which I think most people know. So number one in shots attempted was De'Aaron Fox with 136.
God,
second place was Diamond Mitchell with 111.
Yep.
And he shot 55.5 effective field goal percentage in the clutch this year.
God.
The next best was Jalen Brunson on field goal percentage at 54.9%. But Fox took 45 more field goal attempts in the fourth than him.
No, it was to the point this year where I can't remember what game I was watching at the end of the year. It might have been the playoffs or like just the last few games. But I was surprised when Fox was missing in the fourth quarter. Like it was just like you just gave him the ball and it went in. It just went in every time. No matter defense did not matter in the fourth quarter. It was crazy.
Yeah. Something I had in my notes too was the playoffs. Like that playoff debut against Golden State. Those games 1 and 2 of that series in Sacramento were some of the most fun basketball I've watched. Like
it was the best playoff series.
Like those games were.
That first round series was my favorite playoff.
Those games were electric. Yeah, seeing Steph and Fox go like 3 for 3 in that fourth quarter, like my God, that was so fun to watch. I think that
Mike Brown and Steve Kerr led offenses, dude. I felt like they were just like it was a war on both the players and the coaches. Great series.
Yeah, it was just awesome. Yeah, and that's ultimately kind of why I had him over Trae Young, who I think we can talk about Trae Young when we get to him on your guys' list because I've got some things to say about him too. So
he is next up on me. He's my number 6.
Okay, so let's talk about Trae right now. Trae
are
Young
you gonna talk negatives because I want to give some Trae love quick.
No, I'm gonna get the positives out the way.
All right.
Yeah, he's one of the best passers in the NBA. There's just no denying that. Trae Young.
Oh yeah.
The way he gets his teammates open and the playmaking is just it's become underrated somehow. With people say a lot of things about Trae Young, but you can't deny how good of a passer and playmaker is, and the scoring. Yeah. I mean, efficiency. I think we'll get to in a second, but he's still a great scorer. The Hawks had struggles for sure, but I think Trae Young has sort of like snuck into that underrated category. And it's a bit weird.
I agree.
His playmaking is crazy. He is one of the best playmakers in the NBA, bar none.
Oh, easily.
And the creation for himself, the offensive usage that he has to put on to create for himself and pretty much the entire roster outside of DeJounte Murray is absolutely next level crazy. I think that as long with the scoring ability, he can catch fire really quickly, and it can get really nasty for whoever's on the other side of that. Just hopefully, for the future, I really hope he can. Obviously, this year was a really down year for his efficiency numbers, but yeah. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you guys got any other Trae stuff. I think that people just really underappreciate what he is doing for the Hawks.
100%.
Yeah,
I think Trae is severely underrated. I think it's one of the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say really quickly, kind of how we mentioned for Jamal Murray, for Jamal Murray, Jamal Murray's like responsibilities on offense were like, relatively pretty low. Trae Young is the opposite. Trae Young is asked to do like a heck of a lot for that Hawks team. So Mattias, you can go ahead now.
Yeah, no, that's just funny because of the delay, but no, he has to do a lot, and I think he's one of the few guys that actually goes into what I was going to say, where you can just throw him in with 4 NBA bodies. They don't have to be good. And he's an instant top offense. It's just like, you don't even need good offensive talent around him. It's an instant top offense in the league. Just because he controls the game, both scoring and playmaking so effortlessly.
Yeah, I agree. It's crazy. He is obviously not on the level of like a Jokic, where because Jokic is one of the best of all time at that. And I think Trae Young honestly can be that, but Jokic is like top 2 to 3 like offensive engines of all time. But like Trae Young can literally as long as there's literally like one requisite that he needs on his roster, and it's because he's a guard. He just needs a center who can catch lobs, and it's automatic. It's just gonna be, he'll find you every time on rolls. You're in the dunker spot, he will find you. If you are spotted up in the corner, he will find you. The wing, he'll find you. There's no lack in his playmaking. His floater game is
amazing,
crazy. The floater game is crazy.
So
the mid-range game is crazy. The 3-point shooting can be streaky, but even then, I mean, it's just the ability for him to manipulate offenses and do what he pretty much can do whatever he wants. If he's feeling it, he can do whatever he wants to you. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
So
he's also one of the most like underrated, I feel like, creative ball handlers. Where like he can just pull out shit that you don't see ever.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, he's awesome. I'm a big Trae Young fan. I hope he can get back to his levels from like 2021 of efficiency numbers, and hopefully he can get some support. You're looking for a couple of guys on that on that team to take some jumps next year, and it could be really, really positive for them.
Could be Sioux Legend Muhammad guy, rookie of the year campaign starting.
I'm Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson, shout out you. Another Milwaukee guy.
AJ Griffin.
Yep.
I like his game.
Yep, like his game. Jalen Johnson, I know you can be great. I've seen it in person in high school, so keep it up. So we're rooting for that to happen. Now John Collins is out there. Don't make the mistake, Quinn Snyder. Start Jalen Johnson and let him do his thing. All right, awesome. Okay. So we'll get to number 5 then. I have Ja Morant at number 5. I don't know what you guys
I also have Ja Morant.
I have Shea.
You have Shea at 5.
Okay.
I think you're splitting hairs there, but I personally put Ja at 5 because I think that his offensive, I'm not going to say it in a way that sounds disrespectful. Like, this is not disrespectful, but I think it could come off that way. His offensive game needs to be able to take a leap in his ability to do other things on offense. He needs to be more willing to do it. He needs to be more willing to take the mid-range, and he needs to be more willing to shoot threes when he's wide open.
It was weird because he felt more willing in the beginning of the year, and then he went through a little slump and he went away from it.
Yeah, the mid-range looked great, especially in the playoffs. The mid-range was really working, and then he hurt his hand, obviously, so the jump shot just absolutely was destroyed.
Yeah, he crushed his hand. Oh.
Yeah, but on top of that, those are like the only things. He's a smaller guard, so he's not going to be a great defender, but he puts in effort, and he can also get some steals and stuff like that. And he'll always be good for a highlight
really
block.
Athlete. He can get a contest.
Yeah, but
he's also like a good. I think he works well with that defense, like in the Memphis system with Jaren Jackson and all the other defenders.
He can be a funnel guy. He can be a funnel guy.
Yeah,
he can be a funnel guard.
And as weird as it sounds, he's good like help side sometimes.
Yeah. Because he's so fast.
He can honestly just take 1-2 step and get up.
Yeah. But his offensive game outside of that, he is a top 3 slasher, like paid scorer in the NBA. Like, people are always going to look at the big men for that, especially the high level ones. But last year, not this last season just wrapped up, but the year prior, he was the number 1 finisher around the rim as a undersized, skinny point guard.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
No, he had a down year this year, and everyone wants to like kind of, I don't want to say write him off because they aren't really. They're just like putting people above him. Like Shea, I don't really think is above him yet because he's had a down year. And I think Ja's going to pick his efficiency back up. I think there was a lot of distractions this year. Some were his fault, but still, distractions are distractions. And I think he has a better vet. And in Marcus Smart, I think Marcus Smart is going to be huge for the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yes.
Just in terms of just like overall just culture and play-wise, I think he's going to do wonders.
Yep, and we talked about that in our first episode. If you guys didn't watch that, go back to our first episode. We talked extensively about the Grizzlies and the cultural impact that they're clearly trying to make. They're trying to bring in old vets that are professionals and, really work it. So hopefully they can keep going. I really like the direction of the team. I think they're going to maybe drop off a little bit record-wise and statistics-wise just because of the, suspension. But don't sleep. Desmond Bane getting ability to run for 25 games as a primary scoring option. And Jared Jackson Jr., do not sleep on his offensive game.
I think he'll take a step up.
He's going to take a step up. He took a step up last year. The only time he looked bad in the second half of the year was in the playoffs when he was literally in games like 2 through whatever. I forgot how 6, whatever it was. He only looked bad when he was going against Anthony Davis. So don't sleep on that.
Yeah.
And Anthony Davis makes everyone look bad other than Jokic. So don't sleep.
There you go.
All right.
One more thing I want to add on
with John Morant.
Mattias, you can go.
I want to compare him to Trey because we were talking about how high level playmaker he is.
Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about his playmaking.
I think Ja is just as comparable as he can end as a top playmaker of all time. I think he's an elite passer, and I think he's elite in the pick and roll, and he can make reads outside of it.
Yeah, I agree. He's one of the best playmakers, obviously slashing, which is honestly one of my when we talked about earlier with LaMelo's lack of being able to slash and play make out of the paint. And that weakness, that really hinders, but on offensive creation. But because Ja's so great at getting into the rim, and he's so athletic, it's comparable to Derrick Rose type playmaking, where it's he's gonna get in the air and he's gonna float there for a little bit and he's gonna make the right read because he's such a great offensive mind. And he's so creative around the rim. That's something that's really like we were talking about with Trey's very creative, mind ball handling and playmaking wise, Ja has the same, he is always trying crazy stuff.
Yeah.
He does not care who's in front of him. He does not care who's behind him. He is going to go for the craziest thing ever. If he gets a thought in his mind, I want to do a behind the back, in between the legs, off, freaking dunk in transition with a guy right next to me, I'm going to. He doesn't care, which is why he always falls so much, which he needs to stop. So, but it's awesome to watch.
A lot of the reason that I have Ja so high is that just because the Grizzlies, they win games. They have such a good culture. I mean, sometimes the culture can be in bad ways, obviously, that we've seen. But as far as they have their culture. It's hard to ignore, and I think that John Morant is a big part of that. And they've been a good team. I think I might be having some delay issues with the stream, so I apologize for that. I hope it turns out well in the finished recording. But
it's all right. Well,
no worries.
Work through it.
Yeah, we can manage. We can manage.
Yeah, I think we might be having a little bit of connection issues, but whatever. Hopefully it resolves itself here. It seems like it's getting better as we go. So, yeah. No, Ja's crazy. People, I really think with all the situations that happened off the court this year, people are kind of underestimating the type of player that he really is because of the other antics and stuff that happened within the Grizzlies with Dylan Brooks off the court, which I don't want to get into because it's just not worth talking about at this point. But yeah. All right. Well, we can get into 4 then. Mattias, you said you had Shea at 5. I have him at 4.
Yeah.
I'm guessing Ryan.
I've got him at 4 too.
Yeah. And I have Ja at 4.
Yeah, I think Shea's just crazy. He was crazy scoring this year. He averaged 30 a game. That's so crazy.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm. And
his defense was very impressive.
He's one of the best defensive guards in the NBA. Do not sleep. As a two-way
I will say
guy,
there were times where I would tune into OKC and he'd look amazing defensively, and then I would be then I tune in and
he doesn't lock in all the time.
Yeah, there were some times where I was I forget he was on the
which I think
floor.
I think that has been a common thing with Shea. And I think it'll get better because once the team gets more competitive, he's always been when he's locked in, he's locked in. You kind of see it at the end of the game sometimes. If it's a blowout, he's kind of if he's still out there, it's kind of just I'm gonna dump it off. Let Lou Dort get in his bag at the end of the game, whatever. But I think they'll get better with time.
Yeah.
But no, his
with
finishing
Shea,
skill. Oh, you can go. Sorry.
Yeah. So what I was gonna say with Shea is just even though the Thunder weren't a playoff team like the Grizzlies were, and even though I guess Shea, in that same vein, hasn't proven it for consecutive years at this level, it's just too hard to ignore how good Shea was this year at scoring the ball from the mid-range to going driving in the paint. He started taking less 3-pointers this year than he did last year, and in turn his efficiency went up from over there.
Yeah.
And
he also changed his jumper.
Yeah, he did change his jumper. Yeah, which I think helped in that regard. And the Thunder, they were the 10th seed, but there were spurts in the late parts of the season where the Thunder were the 7th seed, where
they had
it was looking like they could end up there.
they had like no front court defensive help like at all year.
No,
like
no.
Chet coming back next year, it's gonna be so awesome to watch.
It was just like guards on their team.
Yeah, like literally, it was like 3 guards, and then like their small forward and power forward usually like bigger shooting guards. So no, they're Shea's ability to get to the rim is also very good. He's a very big, obviously he's a 6'6", and he's strong, so he gets to the rim well. He finishes at a high rate. He's a great mid-range shooter. He doesn't take a lot of threes, but he can shoot the three. Like if he gets going in a game, he's gonna get going. So him lowering those attempts this year definitely helped. I also think like make the shot feel better than it probably actually was statistically. I don't have his 3-point shooting numbers up, but
I think with Shea, he's one of those guys where we talk about elite athleticism with like Jaw.
Yeah,
he's a different type of elite athleticism where, I mean, he's so laterally quick and he's almost jittery.
It's
and
almost
his change of pace is insane, and also he can so euro and slow down, and it's some of the best body control.
It reminds me of like elite NFL wide receivers where like their ability to like slow their legs down but then just accelerate really fast out of their breaks like is just like when you can do that, your ability to play at your own, like Shea is always going to be able to play at his own pace. Like you want to slow him down, he's going to slow down. He's going to speed you up right away. If you want to try to speed him up, he has the size and the ability, especially because he's playing point guard.
Yeah,
if you put a bigger winger defender on him and his ability to, move, like if you put a bigger wing defender on him, like he's going right by him.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, Shea is one of my favorite point guards to watch. OKC is a super fun team, a lot of fun pieces. I'm very unfortunate that the West is so deep because I really think OKC could be a really good playoff team and really give like a top seed some run for their money next year. But unfortunately, there's like 9 teams that are probably like for sure better than them. So
they're going to be one of those teams that were like, that was a good team to miss.
They're got to wait their time. And I think Presti knows that. And I think the team knows that. Like, wait. You got to wait till your time. Wait till some of these older teams, kind of dismantle. Like 2 years, the Warriors could just be non-existent as a competitive team. Like, some other team, like the Lakers, like LeBron's 39, about to be 39. Like 2 years, he's probably might not even be on the Lakers because he's going to be with Bronny. Like,
it's just, and with the Clippers too, like the Kawhi and PG extensions are up in the air too, so we don't know what's going to happen with them, and they can fall off a cliff super fast.
Yeah, Phoenix, all these contenders, man, just wait your time, come up, just be smart about it. I hope they don't get itchy. Which the only problem is they have so many picks. So what's really great though is they can keep rotating out these role players, even if they're good role players. Literally, they can keep rotating out these role players and taking flyers on draft picks until they land like literally an elite role player at every single position. So hopefully they keep doing that. All right, well, let's get into our third. I'm guessing the top 3 is probably going to be unanimous. Number 3 is Dame, I would assume.
Yep.
Best season of his career at age 33. Averaged 32 points a game.
32, I believe.
Yeah, 32 and like 8. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And had the 70-point game this year, which was awesome. He was super high volume shooting. Game. Yeah, it was awesome. So, we'll let you cook about the trailblazer guy here.
Dame this season was just amazing, and I think he was really undervalued by the media because we look at it and say he was on a play-in team or whatever, but he missed a play-in. He was on the 5th.
Yeah, but they were a competitive play-in team before he re-aggravated his injury, and then they sat him for the rest of the year.
They said he re-aggravated his injury, but like he was just coerced to sitting down again, like last year. Really, is what it was. Like he sat down after having one of his. Yes, I think so. Dame played through injuries his whole career. I think it would be very weird for him to just not, especially when the injury this year was pretty minor. It was like really minor, and he talked as if he was like looking forward to what we had to do this offseason. So there must have been a little wink side eye, like, yeah, you're not feeling good, get better.
Yeah.
Okay. But whatever. Back on the court stuff. He had obviously the 71-point game, which I believed he had 8 or 9 assists in that game as well.
Yeah.
one of the best individual games ever. But I think what was even more impressive about Dame is that he had this season the most efficient 60-point game ever. And I think that was even like a better game. And he just had some of these moments this year where it was some of the most electric basketball I've ever watched because I was tuning in every night. He was amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, I agree. It was crazy. He was awesome all year. I think even though like you could like tell like in that 71-point game, he kind of went big game hunting at the end. Like he was trying to get to 80, like he was trying to beat Kobe's record, like blah, blah, blah. So like I think he just started like you can see in the after like the third quarter, it was just like I'm gonna keep shooting.
Throwing at him.
Yeah, he just kept shooting him. So his efficiency kind of went down that game, but like whatever, who cares? No. But yeah, no, it was awesome year. He was one of like 4 or 5 players all time, maybe 6, to have a season where he averaged 40 points total, 40 points plus assists on the season.
Oh yeah.
So that's an insane stat. I think it was the people were like, I don't even remember.
Harden, it was all LeBron crazy. Probably.
Yeah, it was like Braun. I don't remember. It was some crazy people though.
Yeah.
So that was awesome to see. Trae Young will be next on that list, by the way. So, not much to say about Dame.
James Harden was on there too.
Oh yeah, I think James Harden was on there for his 36-point per game season.
I will say one more thing about Dame that's an intriguing stat is that our starting lineup, or basically any lineup with Dame, but specifically our starting lineup, was a top 5 starting lineup in the league. And some of the Dame minutes are some of the worst basketball, both advanced statistically and eye-watching, you will see in these last few years. And I think that talks to just how valuable and just how skillful he really is because he controls the whole team.
Yeah. And I'm intrigued to see what happens next year now. Obviously, he's not going to be on the roster. So, I'm all in on the Anthony Simons and
that's my favorite player,
Scoot Henderson backcourt. I will be tuned in. I'm making a commitment though this year. I'm going to be buying League Pass so I can rewatch games that I miss. So I've not made the investment because it's so expensive, but I'm going to get the 2K package with it. I'm going to get the 2K package. So, so I'm going to be watching. I'm making sure that I'm going to try to watch as many Blazers games as possible. And obviously I got you to fill me in. So awesome. Well, like there's not much to talk about these next 2 guys. It's number 2 is Luka.
Yeah.
Luka.
Top 5 player in the game. He's crazy scorer, big shot maker, elite all around game,
playoff performer, passer, everything.
Yeah. He had that. Was it a 60-point triple double this year?
Yeah, against the Knicks. And that crazy comeback win where he hit that like shot off the free throw. Yeah. Luka, especially
and he did that. He was like
that game. Yeah. Oh my God. Luka's start to the season last year, like before they traded for Kyrie, was just insane. Like the games he was putting up, just crazy hoops by Luka.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I think they're going to be one of the. I'm higher on their roster. Like Luka is crazy good. Like it's insane. And if we're talking outside of this year too, like he's had one of the best starts to a career that anyone has ever had in the history of basketball. Like he's going into
EuroLeague too.
Yep, and EuroLeague. Like he so far in his career, if he's going into his 6th year, right? He was 2018 draft class.
I think so.
6th year this year.
2018.
5th or 6th year this year. I think it's 6th. He is already a 4-time first-team All-NBA player and a Rookie of the Year. And he already had he has like a EuroLeague MVP. I think he's obviously he's gonna win MVP one day. If he's good, if they're
all
good,
it takes is the Mavs to get top 3 seed, maybe even 4.
Yeah, he this year, if they're a top 4 seed and Luka's doing what he did last year, he's gonna be the MVP. He will win an MVP. I think the big man debate thing has finally been done. I think once you win a championship too, unfortunately, they kind of push you to the side on the MVP debates.
Mm-hmm.
So Jokic probably is not going to be in them this year, even though he always should be. It's going to be a Giannis situation where like he's always going to finish like third or fourth like, every year. But hopefully,
when you zoom out a little bit on just Luka's career so far, and you talk about this crazy start he's had, like the only players that I can think of who have had better starts to their career, like 5 years in, have been like Michael Jordan, obviously. You think Tim Duncan, LeBron, and like maybe Shaq or Kareem or someone like that, but it's really not a lot of guys.
But...
Yeah, like Kobe too, because he went on the three-peat like his first 5 years. Because he got drafted in '96 and then they won a championship.
He started slow, but they won.
Yeah. Which Shaq coming to your team will do that for you. It's crazy. Luka is a must-see TV at all times, no matter what team is playing. He's playing with. It's going to be I'm super excited for him. He's probably going to be. He'll probably be at the top of the league again. And he only has – it's crazy. He is a fifth-year player. He's like, 23?
Yeah, 23, 24.
Yeah, and he's already like a top 5 player in basketball and has been that way for 2 to 3 years. So crazy stuff. He's
been top 10 since like maybe –
his sophomore year. After his sophomore year, he was like top 10. Yeah, it's nuts. And then guessing number 1, Steph Curry.
Yep, Steph.
It's not much to really say about Steph Curry. Best shooter the game's ever seen. Top 10 player of all time. Won a championship in the last 2 years. Still crazy efficient as it's literally the most efficient jump shooter almost in the NBA. And he's like the highest volume jump shooter in the NBA.
It's crazy. Yeah. I was just looking at the stats a second ago, and I think my delay might be back to normal now.
It is. I think right at the end they got you.
Yes. Okay. So yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, he was injured a bit. He was injured a bit last year. He didn't. I think he played 56 games, somewhere around there. But 11 threes a game, shooting 42%. Like what the hell?
Crazy.
It's just crazy. And
that's
also
a cheat code, man.
91% from the free throw line and 49.3% from the field.
Just he's gonna get another. He's basically a walking 50, 40, 90. I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's great. Yeah, it's literally nuts. He's insane. Obviously, there's not much to really say about Steph Curry. Everyone knows who Steph Curry is.
Yeah.
Luka would be the certified number 1 guy, like by far. Like I think like Dame's obviously very good, but I don't like Dame's like arguably like a top 10-ish, like end of top 10 player in the NBA. But like even then, like he's not close to Luka's level, and like Curry and Luka are like there's still a gap there, which is crazy. So
Luka's different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Curry, you can make arguments for Curry being the second best player in the entire NBA. Like that's what we're talking with.
You
Curry.
can make an argument for him being the best player in the NBA.
You really could. Yeah.
I think the top 3 guys there are, which we'll probably get into eventually as we get the positions, but top 3 guys in the NBA I think would be like Steph, Giannis, and Embiid, or not Embiid.
Jokic.
We should clip that and then we can.
Whoa!
That's going back out.
That's going back up.
So, all right. Well, awesome. So it looks like we have our officially our top 10 point guards list here. We've gone through it. We'll all run through ours individually here just so we can hear them one more time. So you'll start with you, Ryan, and then we'll go to Mattias, and then I'll finish it up for you.
Yeah, so my top 10 point guards going into next season are Jalen Brunson at 10. I have James Harden at 9. Tyrese Halliburton at 8. Trae Young at 7. De'Aaron Fox at 6. John Morant at 5. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at 4. Damian Lillard at 3. Luka Doncic at 2. And Stephen Curry at 1.
All right. For my top 10 point guards, I have Jamal Murray at 10. Jalen Brunson at 9. James Harden at 8. De'Aaron Fox at 7. Trae Young at 6. Shai at 5. John Morant at 4. Dame at 3. Luka at 2. And Steph Curry at 1.
All right. And then for my top 10s list, I have Jamal Murray at 10. Jalen Brunson at 9. Tyrese Halliburton at 8. De'Aaron Fox at 7. 6 is Trae Young. 5 is Ja Morant. 4 is SGA. 3 is Dame. 2 is Luka. And number 1 is Steph Curry. And then our unanimous honorable mentions list consisted of Darius Garland, Drew Holiday, and LaMelo Ball for you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is our top 10 point guards in the NBA going into next season. Got a little bit of talk on what you can see, what we value in, our point guard play here. Next week. Yep. Next week, we'll be running through our top 10 shooting guards list. That episode will be out on Friday morning as well, per usual. And anything else we want to wrap up and say before we log off here, guys?
Yeah. So what we use to determine what our point guards and shooting guards is basketball reference. So I'm going to say it now. Kyrie is not a point guard. He is listed as a shooting guard this last season. So
and the last few seasons.
Yeah. Last few seasons, he's really been a shooting guard. So, if you're sitting, listening, or watching to this thinking, where is Kyrie? He will be in the next video coming out next week on the shooting guards list.
Yep. We did use basketball reference for our list. Full comprehensive list was a few names that I thought might have been listed as shooting guards, but they weren't. For example, a lot of people do think Shea is listed as a shooting guard a lot of time because Giddey is a really traditional point guard. Mm-hmm. That's always like, oh, Shea's a shooting guard. No, he's not. Yeah. We did use basketball reference, and we will be using that for all 5. So if you disagree with where someone is listed at, it's not us. It is the basketball reference is how we listed them off. All right. Well, then we'll close it out here. Looks like we had a great episode here. Ran for a little bit long, but it was a great episode. Great dialogue on everything. Drop a comment down below on your top 10 lists. Get some engagement. Leave a like. We're also going to be throwing down all of our socials in the description from now on. Follow us on Twitter, all of our socials. We'll also have our account there. Keep an eye out. We will be making notification on our socials as well. We're working on getting audio platforms set up so we can start uploading on Spotify and Apple. We do have to kind of get accounts made for that, and approval process takes a little bit. So we also have to get all the stuff done for it. So that'll be taking a little bit of time, but we will be looking out. So keep an eye out. Follow us on socials. Drop all personals. All right. Well, and with that, we can wrap it up. I appreciate everyone listening. Leave a like, comment down below. Bruce the engagement. Leave a sub as well if you're a new time viewer. And you guys have a great rest of your night. Peace out.
You too. Peace.